Hey guys, how goes life? I hope all is swell and jolly and all that jazz. It's been a while, I know, but it's like, I go up and down. Forgive me. So, what do I want to talk about? I've actually been sitting on this for like a week or so. It's something that I learned. It was news to me, and I'm just like, I don't really know what to do with it. And it's like, do I share it? Do I let it go? But it's like a thought that just keeps, recurring in my head. So I decided to share it. So let me tell you what I learned. I learned recently that men are superior to women. And I had never known this before. I don't agree with it, but it was news. It was news. So this all came about because I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and he was giving me like, the latest woes in his relationship. And I don't know if it's like I don't know his girlfriend. I don't know his girlfriend at all. But every time he calls me, it's nothing positive. It's always something super negative. So my thing is, leave. Like, it's simple to say, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, but given everything that he's given to me about their situation, it doesn't sound like it's a healthy situation for anybody involved. But that's beside the point. Let's get to the whole toxic masculinity. I hate myself for saying it, but it is relevant in this conversation. So, he and I were talking, and he was like, if him and his girlfriend break up, then he just wants a woman who's going to make a man feel like a man because, men are superior to women. And I was like, oh, honey, I'm not doing this with you. I'm not doing this with you because no one is superior to anyone. Like, let's start there. He was like, no, I don't mean it like that. All I'm saying is that there are things that men can do that women can't do. I was like, okay. And there are a lot of things that women can do that men can't do. And there's that in between where it's things that everyone can do. So he's like, nah, I just want a woman to make me feel like a man, and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, you know what? As somebody who was accused of being emasculating, I get the whole, you want this woman to make you feel like a man, and I'm not knocking that. But don't take away my independence and who I am as a woman to make yourself feel better. Like, that shit is hella toxic. So I was explaining to him, yes, there are things that men and women can't do that the other sex can do, but there are so many other things that make up for that. So he's just like we're talking, and he's like, he said something. So like we got back to me being emasculated. I was like, it's not that I'm emasculated, it's that I'm super independent. Like, I'm very independent, and that's how my parents raised me to be. There are a lot of things that I can do for myself. Now, if you want to do them, then by all means go ahead. But don't expect me to be that woe is me female, I can't do anything without a man kind of person. I'm not knocking women that are like that. If that's your thing, then baby girl, let that be your thing. But that's not something for me. Like, say, okay, we were talking about, me dating. I was like, I can't date anybody under the age of 35. So he was like, all men who are 35 or over have electric tools. I was like, what are you talking about? He was like, yeah, all men who are over the age of 35 have electric tools. And that's crazy. And I grew up in a house full of women, which is insane because I know he has a brother. But he grew up in a house full of women, so he can't build. He can't build anything. If that's the kind of man that you're looking for, then it won't be him because he cannot build things because he grew up in a house full of women. I was like, that is so fucking sexist. Like, I'm a woman. I can build. I grew up in a house with both my parents who, one, instilled independency, and two, taught me how to do for myself. Like, I grew up in a household where I watched my mom put together bed frames and retile her whole entire house by herself and move the heaviest of fucking furniture by herself. I also grew up in a home, it's the same home. I also grew up in a home with my dad where I watched him build bookcases and TV stands and put our pool table together, and they were just so willing to teach. It's not about being a man or a woman or growing up in a house full of women so I can't build. No, that's foolish. It's about being motivated to do so. Like, building doesn't take much. Like, I put my bookcases together. I sat on the floor in the middle of the night by my damn self and put my bookcases together. Not because I grew up with a father in the home, not because I grew up with a mother in the home. One, because I was motivated to do it. That's one. And also because I read the instructions and I had the tools. It's that simple. It has nothing to do with sex or gender or anything like that. So me and him, we continue this talk, and I'm just like this. I'm at this point in my life where like my give a fuck level is very low. I I give you my opinion. You don't take it. I don't care anymore. So like we're going back after like going back and forth a little bit with this whole, man versus woman thing. I was like, I don't care anymore. Like that's just the end of this conversation. Like you're not admitting to yourself that you're being sexist. And you want a woman to make you feel like a man, but like what are you doing for that woman? Not even like before we even get to that woman, what are you doing for yourself to make yourself feel like the man that you think you are? Like that, let's start there. Like we rely so heavily on the next person to make us happy or build us up or do things. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that when you're in a relationship with somebody. Like you should always support your partner, always want the best for your partner, be loving, be caring, be that rock when they need you. And that goes for both sides. But that person also has to do it for themselves. Like I can't fight for you if you're not fighting for yourself. We're not going to get anywhere with it. So I was like explaining to him, like, women are much more than the barefoot and pregnant type. Like, we are individuals. We have our own personas. We have jobs. We are educated. We have opinions. We have minds. We not just as women, but as human beings, regard the right to be our natural selves. Whether or not the next person can accept that is totally on them. But don't knock me. Don't say that you're superior to me because you're a man, because you have a dick between your legs. That's really the only difference here. So like we were talking about it, and he was like, no, that's not what I meant, blah blah blah, like I said earlier. But it was just like this conversation is going nowhere. Like if you can't do this for you, I'm very big on if you can't do it for yourself, then you can't expect somebody else to do it for you. Like I said, I grew up to be very independent. I'm very independent. When there are things that I can't do, I call on someone else to do it. I could not get my desk together. I had a guy friend of mine do it for me. I actually had several guy friends of mine attempt this first, and then I had this guy put it together. And it wasn't because I need a man to do it. It's because he was available. And I don't have a lot of female friends. So, and then the female friends that I have are just like so strong and independent and deserve more than a man who says, you are less than me. Let's get one thing straight. Nobody is better than anybody. Yes, you may be able to do something that I can't do, and yes, I may be able to do something that you can't do. But you're not better than me, and I'm not better than you for having the ability to do this and get this done. Like, don't miss me with that bullshit. This is not the olden days where like I said, you gotta be barefoot and pregnant and clean the house and do this, that, and third. If you can't do that for yourself, then what are we really doing here? I'm not your slave. I love this movie. I'm not your slave. I'm not your property. I'm not less than you. So don't come at me with that. So it was a really interesting and weird conversation that we had. But I learned that men, according to this guy, are superior to women, but you can't be, because no one is superior to anybody. If you want a woman to make you feel like a man, then say that, but also be mindful of what you're doing to make yourself feel like the man that you think you are, and also be mindful of you making your woman feel like she's your woman, feel like she's a woman on her own. But make sure she's doing that for herself too. It can't just be, all right, we're in this relationship, you have to do as I say. It's like love, honor, and obey. I need the obey part, though. Baby, we're not going to do that. I mean, I'm going to listen. I'm going to, take advice, but I'm not going to do as you say because you say it because you're a guy. Well, we're not going to do that. I'm a whole independent-ass woman. And I admit that there are things that I cannot do. And I will go out and get help from men, women, anyone in between. That's just what it is. So, yeah, it's just be mindful. I mean, like I said, I'm not knocking people who, actually have this ideology and they work it out and they practice it and it works for them. If that's your thing, baby, then let that be your thing. Men and women indifferent alike. But, okay, not indifferent alike, because that doesn't sound okay. No, I don't like that. You know what I mean, though. Like, everyone across the board. If that's your thing, let that be your thing. But don't bring your thing to me and expect me to just follow suit, because I'm just not that person. I have a mind of my own. I have opinions. I have ideas. I'm willing to meet you halfway. I'm not willing to throw my life away for you. I'm not willing to throw my independence away for you. I'm not going to be one of those girls. Like I said, I'm not one of those woe is me kind of people. If I can't do it, I can't do it. I'm going to ask for help. But if I can do it and it's available to me at the time and I want to do it, I'm going to do it. If it's something that you want to do, then say that. Don't expect me to just, oh my God, I got these bookcases and because I'm a girl, I can't do it. So can you do it for me, please? Oh my God, I'm not that girl. I'm not. In any case, guys, have a wonderful day. Be happy, be merry. I hope all is swell and jolly in your world. Ciao.